The Los Angeles Chargers have started their 2025 season making exactly the kind of statement that has turned heads across the NFL, with consecutive wins against division rivals, including a big win over the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football a few days ago. Los Angeles is 2-0 and they're now leading the AFC West, a feat that signals that the Chargers are finally playing to their talent level and they may be poised for a breakout year under Jim Harbaugh. I mean, beating the Chiefs was just a huge wall to break through, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about this Raiders win. In an era where fast starts and signature wins set contenders apart, the Chargers' latest win definitely deserves a deep analysis, so that's what I'm here to do, is break down some of the best moments from the game and what players stood out. And I also want to talk about news going on with this team, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be all about the Chargers and their 2-0 start to the season, so I think you're going to love this one if you're a Chargers fan. So please be sure to drop a like and subscribe before I do begin. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so opening the season with a win in Brazil over the perennial powerhouse Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning divisional kings for 9 straight years, which is just absolutely absurd. They're a dynasty, that's what they are, but I think they're definitely on the downslope, and the Chargers are on the come up. And the Chargers showed from the jump that this season would not be business as usual, but it was the way they followed that up on Monday Night Football, dispatching the Las Vegas Raiders 20-9, that has cemented the sense that this team might finally have championship makeup. Winning 2 divisional games in consecutive weeks is, again, it's no easy task, and the Chargers now find themselves holding a rare 2-game cushion over the Chiefs in the standings, and even though it's early, every single game matters, and we know that. And the Chargers' victory over the Raiders definitely started in emphatic fashion. On the very first snap, Henley picked off Geno Smith, and it instantly set the tone for a dominant defensive game. Los Angeles forced 3 interceptions out of Geno Smith on a night that they held the Raiders offense out of the end zone for pretty much the entire game, and the Raiders managed only 218 total yards and were limited to just 3.4 yards per play, an elite defensive result by any standard. College, NFL, it doesn't matter. That is great defense. So Jim Harbaugh's defense, coordinated by Jesse Minter, has executed smart game plans throughout the early part of this season. They've neutralized explosive opportunities downfield. They only allowed Vegas to have 3 explosive passes, all on short completions that were extended by yards after the catch, with no deep shots getting behind the secondary. Los Angeles obviously finished with 3 takeaways, including a crucial end zone interception by the veteran corner in Dante Jackson to snuff out the Raiders' best scoring threat in the second half. And then, in terms of key defensive performances, I think it was definitely Henley who started the game off with an interception, but also Gilman, who helped anchor a secondary missing Elijah Molden, and the perennial All-Pro in Derwin James, whose breakups in critical moments shut down Las Vegas comeback hopes. Even after losing Khalil Mack to injury in the first half, the rest of the front 7, including Thule and Bud Dupree, contributed pressure throughout the night. I thought they really held their own for the circumstance. Statistically, the Chargers held the Raiders to well under 4 yards per play. They yielded no touchdowns, they forced those 3 interceptions, and only conceded field goals, all from Daniel Carlson. And after 2 games, the Chargers have given up just 30 points, which I know this is kind of cherry picking a stat, but last season that would have been the best in the league through 2 weeks, and it ranks top 5 in the NFL in both total defense and DVOA, and sitting 4th in defensive efficiency per advanced metrics. The defensive front generated sustained pressure in the Raiders game, while the secondary capitalized on risky throws and they blanketed all the passing lanes. This is a unit with both veteran leadership and also young bucks, young playmakers that are rounding into form. We're really starting to see everything come together and the chemistry starting to build. And while the defense has been the headline of this team through the first 2 weeks of the season, Justin Herbert's play has been just as vital and important to the team's success. Through 2 weeks, Herbert has thrown for 560 yards and 5 touchdowns with 0 interceptions, completing 72% of his passes. And against the Raiders, he finished 19 of 27 for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. He showed a lot of fearlessness with his downfield aggression. Herbert also led the team in rushing with 31 yards, using his legs to extend drives and keep the Vegas defense guessing. Both of his touchdown throws, one was to the returning veteran Keenan and another was to Quentin Johnston, and they both came in high leverage red zone moments. To me, Justin Herbert's willingness to attack coverage and push the ball has been central to the Chargers' early offensive success. He isn't afraid to challenge tight windows or risk that occasional turnover, even though he hasn't had any yet, in pursuit of chunk gains. And this calculated aggression extends possessions, it generates field-flipping explosive plays that every successful team needs, and it gives the Chargers an edge in the high-variance moments that define playoff teams. And from the coach's perspective in Jim Harbaugh, Herbert's profile fits the mold of quarterbacks that elevate their teams in January. Obviously, we haven't really got to see it yet, but I think this is the year. I'm very confident in that. He's comfortable testing defenses vertically, he trusts his receivers, and he's staying aggressive even after misses, a stoic mentality that's necessary for deep postseason runs. Again, it all does come down to this team staying healthy. I know that's kind of been the Achilles heel, but if they are, I really think this is one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. Now, in terms of some of the offensive surprises and standouts at the skill positions, I think Los Angeles has blended reliability and new talent. Keenan Allen was brought back on a 1-year deal after a short stint that didn't really work out in Chicago, and he immediately made his presence felt where he's most comfortable, catching that red zone touchdown. And then Johnston, who is entering a vital development year, he's begun to showcase his playmaking ability, and new faces have also made an impact, especially the rookie in Omarion Hampton, who the Chargers of course selected in the first round out of North Carolina. He has energized the run game and provided much needed balance, and I think as he starts to learn how life in the NFL is and kind of learns and gets like chemistry with the O-line, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Once he kind of develops that cohesion with the O-line, finds the gaps, he's going to be a lot better in terms of production. The Chargers did quietly address a lot of their glaring holes this offseason, especially in the draft. Guys like Trey Harris, and then they took Tyler Conklin to ensure that Herbert has trustworthy options. And despite a preseason injury to the left tackle and Rashawn Slater, the line is largely held up through the first 2 games, particularly in pass protection, allowing Herbert the time needed to hunt for those big chunk plays downfield. I will say there already are some injuries, and there's some things going on that are going to hurt this team in terms of the depth, and it's definitely going to be tested. Khalil Mack being hurt is going to definitely test this depth, and somebody else is going to have to step up. He obviously hurt his elbow late in the first half and did not return. But I really do think the running storyline right now is Keenan Allen and his resurgence. I mean, him being back is just such like a nostalgia thing for me, because as a kid growing up, he was always on the Chargers. So it's cool seeing him catch touchdowns again. I'm sure that you Chargers fans appreciate it too. And I really do think that this, as I've said a million times this video, I think the Chargers are a contending team if everything comes together and they stay healthy. They really look like it right now, and I only expect them to get better. Here's what some of the guys themselves had to say about the win in their post-game press conferences.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought the defense played so well today, and to cause those 3 turnovers and to come up with some big stops like that, they brought it today, and they played so well, and we're not surprised we see that in practice every day. It's 1 week at a time for us. That's the way you got to play this game. You can't look too far ahead, and you can't look in the past, and we're going to watch the film on this one, and move on to our next opponent.
So overall, through 2 weeks, the Chargers have not only positioned themselves atop the AFC West, but they've changed the conversation about what this franchise can be. And under Jim Harbaugh, they play with a tougher edge, blending a quietly dominant defense with a quarterback who's just as willing to test secondaries as he is to take off for a key first down. Herbert's willingness to push the envelope, never shying away from high-risk, high-reward moments, infuses this offense and just makes it so dynamic. So if the defense can continue to generate turnovers and Herbert keeps playing at this high level, there's little doubt in my eyes that this year's Chargers have the ingredients to finally make a Super Bowl push, a reality that's been recognized both in the film and also the analytics. And as the season moves forward, health and depth will set their ceiling, but after a start like this, the message is clear. Los Angeles is no longer an afterthought. They're a team the rest of the NFL must take seriously. That's all I got for this one, though. I know I've just kind of been talking in circles, and I've kind of made my point a million times, so sorry if that annoyed you guys. But I'm really hyped up about this team. I love some of the players on it. I know I'm not the biggest Harbaugh guy, but I like Jim Harbaugh overall. He's done nothing wrong, and I think he's a good overall person, so I'm happy to see him succeed. Obviously, I kind of have a grudge against what he did in Michigan, but I'm glad that he's having success in the NFL, and I only expect this team to get even hotter as the season goes on. Let me know if you enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.